everybody, and welcome to Download Youth Ministry Web Show, episode 273. It just seems like so long since we've been together, since episode 272.
So long.
Doug Fields here, joined by my beautiful wife, Kathy Fields, Youth Ministry extraordinaire, youth worker. Katie, the Queen Edwards, junior high guru, and Josh, the co-host.
That's right.
Hey,
that's what I do.
We do a show where Ron and Ange and Kath and Jason and Juliet, like
that'd be fun.
That would be
so
really
great.
good time.
That'd be fun.
It'd be crowded.
It'd be crowded. It'd be crowded. You're right.
I like it. Let's do it.
We can take a crowd.
What would the topic
Youth
be?
ministry, right?
Yeah, that's
Pretty
right.
close to each other.
Like youth ministry and marriage, youth ministry and
like even just
spouse.
all the different ways.
What if
that
it was
kind of...
just the spouses? That would be
hilarious.
That would be
Yeah.
funny.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
might
God,
be a little
funny.
quiet.
Yeah.
You'd have to be the ringleader for sure.
Kathy would run it.
Kathy, you're the most extroverted of the introverts.
Oh, you're right.
You would have to be the
Okay,
host.
that is a bad idea.
They just sit here and they're just reading
That's
the
a
whole
bad
time. Oh, are we?
I would love
That's
to
funny.
see you work the crowd.
Oh,
you
that
can
would
do
be
it.
amazing.
You can do it.
Well, there
could
probably
do
would
it.
be some pretty great insight, to be honest,
Oh, I'm
about youth
sure.
ministry
That'd
and
be
marriage
great
and
stuff. And to be really
yeah.
honest,
That
because
would be
nobody
fun.
has anything to lose.
That'd be
at the
fun.
table.
Yeah.
Maybe what we'll do is we'll get the questions and you guys do it.
Oh,
That's
that would be
All right.
hilarious.
That's a
I'm
fun
gonna say
idea.
that.
Okay, you have to prep your spouses if
I
they
would.
have to
I
talk.
would. Ron would be all in. If you ask
If I
Ron a
ask-
question, he will answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
You're gonna have to
and
figure out how to
dinosaurs.
cut him down,
Okay.
because once Ron starts talking,
Yeah, he
Yeah,
gets
you gotta
rolling.
be like,
Get them rolling in.
you
Senior
gotta be
pastor.
like, you gotta bring him in. You
Yeah.
gotta bring him in.
Okay.
That is
you
fun.
could do that.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
absolutely.
All right.
What about
What a
Jason
fun
Carson's
idea.
wife, though? Is she a
Julie,
chatterbox?
No.
No.
No,
Okay, great.
it's
No,
funny.
she actually makes Angela seem like a chatterbox.
Yeah, it's true. And
okay,
Ange,
great.
Ange can be a chatterbox when she
Ange-
cares deeply
When
about
she
something.
cares,
She is
yeah.
all in.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
No,
it
they're
would
all great communicators.
Oh
They're
my
just
gosh.
introverts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great insight, tons of wisdom for
Yep.
sure.
Oh, that's a fun idea.
They just
okay.
won't make fun of each other.
They
So-
won't.
They'll be so kind
so
and
gentle.
respectful.
This is how the other half lives.
It'll,
Right here.
it'll be
Yeah.
really good, just not funny.
It's how
Just
you
enough
guys
seriousness.
function.
It would be
That's
great.
Sane people on the other end.
That's true.
That would
That's
be
true.
fun.
This is from Jeremy Cole. Jeremy Cole of St. Mary's United Methodist Church. I have a few questions. How do I find all the old web show
Oh.
episodes?
Let me take this question.
Is there specific podcast
It's gonna be
titles?
funny if I'm
No.
involved.
See, she can do it all day.
You got this.
It's Kathy Fields, everybody.
Kathy Fields' humor has really come on strong the last few years. I'd love to be an official rewinder. Josh.
Okay. Here's how it works. Every episode, 0 to 273, by the time this airs, is on YouTube. The only problem is that Matt, our illustrious Matt McGill, uploaded them all at the same time to like 200 episodes and didn't label which one was which.
Oh.
Awesome.
So right now I have a rewinder who's going back and watching every show.
And I'm in episode 1.
And congratulations, you're in. And is labeling them for us. So they're all there.
That's so
They're
cool.
just not
Oh, that's
labeled. It's
nice.
a mess. You can go all the way back to 200 on iTunes, but that's only 75 or so shows.
Yeah.
But they'll all be on YouTube, and they're being labeled by a volunteer for DYM.
How great.
So it's
If
happening.
I search my name on YouTube, will I be able to find myself on the show so I can watch the shows I was on?
You legitimately can.
Seriously.
It's crazy how good the system is now on YouTube. You will find you.
Wow.
Which it's also
That's
creepy.
exciting.
actually,
I might do
too.
the same
Super
thing.
creepy.
I want to watch all your shows.
I thought you were
A lot
going to
of
watch all
wisdom.
your shows. I was going to say,
No.
you've got a lot to watch.
I like yours.
If you type in Doug Fields, you'll get a lot of other things too. Doug's been in a lot of video stuff, so
You
Other
know,
things.
whatever.
you know I
And
can't
baby.
I can't think of any
Talk about.
offhand,
And
but
baby.
you know whatever.
He says, I'm also returning. I want to be a rewinder. I'm also a returning customer of DYM. A returning customer. When I
returning.
first ordered it, I was so green in the vocation. I was just trying to get a handle on everything. Found myself not using it and canceled membership. Big mistake. Now I'm back. I
We
now
should
find
save that email.
No,
That's a
he
good
said
email.
big mistake,
Yeah.
not me. Now I'm back. I find myself having more time to check out resources and brush up on the training. Here's my question for the show. How would you recommend Recommend.
Where's he from now, y'all?
Reaching out to the other country youth workers in my local area to come together more as a network. It seems like most folks around here have the island mentality. I've emailed them all suggesting many ways to get together, but it seems to fall on deaf ears. I'm going to answer this real quick and we're going to move on.
Love it.
Here's what I think you need to do, Jeremy. Don't email them all. email one. You two go out, develop a relationship. If you connect, great. Invite a third one after that, and go that way. If I get an email to an all, and I'm like, I don't know who's gonna delete, So, but it's a lot easier to go out with somebody if they're just asking you out. You develop a relationship, build that network from there. All right, is that okay?
I would not have answered that like that at all, and it's brilliant.
Oh.
It's the first time in 273 episodes where Doug answers something just perfectly. I have nothing to add.
There you go. I feel blessed. We should close in prayer. Scott Velasquez, Journeys Crossing, a Christian church, Gaithersburg, Maryland.
All right.
I have to say it's a Christian church.
Yeah.
It's not just a church.
It's not just a church.
I appreciate that. Appreciate the clarification. I'm going to go there. It's a
What's
Wiccan.
happening with language today?
Wiccan congregation. I thought this was Christian. Put it in your name.
What are you guys using for ongoing adult leader training, and what's your strategy for the first 30 days of a new leader's tenure, or whatever time period you guys think in your context is most important for new leaders to build a solid foundation from which to lead? So, what are you using for ongoing leader training, and what's your strategy for basically onboarding the leader?
Yeah, that's good. We have a pretty similar strategy. Why don't you take it, and I'll fill in some gaps. Is that all right, Kate?
Yeah, I mean, I think we do training. I think we definitely overall try to have a touch point with leaders monthly. So that would either be a face-to-face training or something maybe more self-directed, like some video training or something that we would send them to do some self-training with. But I think we're trying to have some sort of touch point monthly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we front load some of the training at the beginning of the
Right.
year. We have more
Kickoff.
training for kickoff, for the start of the year. It's natural when people are like, I need more training right here. And then as you get into the year, we do maybe a little
The
less, or a
halfway
little virtual.
point, we do a lot of stuff too, just
Yeah.
to kind of even as the new year starts in January and that kind of thing.
And then I'll answer this other part, maybe like in a perfect world. This isn't always this way, if I'm honest. I think there's some great value in shadowing a new volunteer youth worker who just came into the team with a veteran. So if I had a Jamie come into our ministry, I'd be like, Kathy is one of the very best leaders, and connect the two of them, and then watch Jamie take off because she has that veteran kind of mentoring taking place. That would be a perfect world how that would work. So especially those first 30 days when there's a lot of insecurities and like, I don't know if I'm made for this. I just volunteered and here I am just thrown in. Give them somebody who's a pro, let them shadow, and then maybe get their own group from that point.
I think too in the first 30 days, just being really intentional about helping them know like what their role is, how equipping them with the resources that they need. Most volunteers, if you give them here's kind of what we want you to do, here's a few steps we want you to take, here's what being relational looks like, and breaking that down for them. I think we've made mistakes in the past saying go and be relational and just thinking that volunteers knew what to do,
Know what that means,
or go
even.
and lead a small group, or go do this. And even some of the things that you might find as simple, breaking them down into a couple of steps of, hey, can you try to talk to 3 students and ask these 3 or 4 questions? Just giving them some really great, simple first steps towards conversation, towards their role, and towards joining your team. When you come, we have a name tag and a shirt for you. We want you to wear that. That helps you be part of the team. So just kind of giving them some broken down steps, I think really helps them feel set up to win.
I like that.
I do
Yeah.
too.
We
I
all,
like that, Katie.
Kath, you've been a volunteer for 30 years. What do you think?
I think both Josh and Katie had great stuff. I think my last few years of being a volunteer, you guys have new volunteers and earlier, shorter tenure down. But what do you do with those leaders who have been around a lot? I mean, honestly, I went to leader meetings going, I don't want to hear this again.
Right,
How
I've heard
about
of this before.
people who have been here 5 years or longer and have been trained in this, let's go and we're going to train you on crisis intervention or on something else. I feel like going to leader meetings the last few years of my time being a volunteer was real stale. And I had a real Jamie.
Totally.
And, trying to just mentor and be there for her. And I don't believe I know everything in ministry, and so there's still more for me to learn.
Yeah.
But I don't need to learn what are the 3 new questions, and you want me to talk to 3 more kids.
The same basics over and over again.
Yeah, I felt that was tough for me.
Yeah,
As
that's
a-
good insight
Yeah.
because I think too, even talking to your veterans, like what, even knowing like what are 2 or 3 topics that you would want us to do discussion on or training or whatever this year would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I loved all the practical stuff. All the here's birthday cards. You guys are brilliant at that. Send out birthday cards, and you guys have supplied them. And because it's just a trigger, it reminds me to do that. And so the practical stuff, you guys have really done a great job on. That was
I'm not
very
sure we've
helpful.
ever had a show where Josh has been so attacked before like this. You're really going after him.
I'm
man.
pretty wounded. I'm not going to lie to you. Thankfully, I'm very distracted by everything that's happening in the hallway. So I heard about half of what Kathy was. The flaming arrows were just bouncing
I thought it was
off.
Great.
you
I
know?
think it's great insight. I think
Well,
I think it's
and
great.
to address it specifically,
Yes, Josh.
no, I mean I really don't have anything to add. We're trying. We're trying to involve the veteran volunteers more. So if you are active in our ministry right now, I would say, Kathy, come up and share X, Y, and Z with our newbies. And that we found that as Matt and Chip and others are pro volunteers that have been here for years, as they now get to pour into people from the stage or in person, they do sense a little bit more like I have purpose in being here for the 8th year in a row or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're working on it, but I feel
there's
your
always
pain.
something
Yeah.
to learn.
Yeah.
I think that the principle is there's something to learn from the
Something to
veteran.
learn.
No, I'm
Absolutely.
saying there's something to learn from the veteran volunteers.
Oh.
You know,
I
'cause I
agree.
was even saying something to Josh when Julie Brock left, and you brought it to my attention, like, here's a girl who was a woman who volunteered for 15, 20 years, and she left, and we didn't really do a good job closing the books on her, and celebrating that time and bringing closure to it. It was just, but that is such a difficult part of leadership because
We're on to the next.
you're on to the
Yeah.
next.
Now we need another volunteer. Great.
And
you do,
and it's
you
not
do-
right,
You
but
feel so much more pressure too on the front end with some of the volunteers who you're about to put with students, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh gosh, there's so much we need you to know, and so
Yes.
you do end up feeling probably a little. I mean, I know I feel a little bit more pressure on that side, so
Totally.
I think that's a good.
Just
You know, and even an idea, just an idea, practical idea. The last show we mentioned a new book that you had just read, written by Orange and Reggie
Yeah,
Joyner.
Faze, just Faze.
Faze. And you know what? Maybe some of your veteran leaders don't need to go to that whole meeting, but then they get to hang out with either you guys or one of the people on your team or just another veteran leader, and they get together and they have committed to learning more through reading this book, and now they're going to hang out while the
Right.
others are getting their practical.
yeah, it's cool.
Here's
Yeah.
how you lead a
Your
Bible study.
training is
Here's your
this.
curriculum.
Yeah.
Here's how you go through it.
Yeah.
Good.
you're not only beautiful, you're smart.
And you're hurtful. But
No, I think the tension is too like I want you sitting at a table with my newbies too.
Yeah.
So it's like finding those. Maybe there's some great pauses in the year where you guys are hitting some deeper stuff, and then there are some great times where you're rubbing shoulders with the Jamies.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's that's definitely a tension too of like, oh, I just want you sitting at a table.
Yeah,
with them,
well, and
you
if
Right,
know?
you're giving
and if
more
you're
value
front
there than you
loading,
know.
if you're
Yeah.
front loading
If you're
that
front-loading,
training,
that's
like in
easier, yeah.
September, you could have all the veterans over to your house for a nice dinner.
Yeah.
Thank you. Give them the Just a Phase book, whatever. Give them something more advanced and say, really be meaningful. I know you're not going to get anything out of the next Wednesday night training, but
Sure.
if you could all come and sit at a table with these new leaders
for the
and
first
that way,
acts, yeah.
Just
yeah.
giving
That way
you a
she's-
little bit more of a
Yeah, even if that was just communicated to me
Yeah.
to say, I value your time at the table
yeah.
and you with
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. I think that's
That's a good
great.
word.
Yeah, we do value your time at this table, Cabby. Thank
We
you
do.
for
I
being here.
just
I'm
sent
sorry.
flowers to your
Thank you.
house.
I'm sorry.
Katie gave me chocolate also, so
Sorry,
that's really
That's
sweet.
true.
Josh
I did
hurt
it
you so
first.
bad.
Remember.
This
it was
is
the other way,
from
but let's be
Mike
back.
Cunningham, who also goes by Mookie at Flood Church in San Diego.
Mookie, that's a good nickname.
What
Is that
type
the
of?
church Cass goes to?
What's the name of it?
Flood.
Oh yeah, San
Yeah.
Diego.
San Diego?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is.
It's our kids.
Yeah, we
When
should
she
know.
They have
goes
the
to-
flood
when she's in
and the
school.
rock.
The Rock and
Yeah.
the Flood.
What?
Yeah, and the Ark.
Yeah.
Wait, Journey.
Yeah.
They did totally get it. You got me. I was like, what? Aw. The Journey. What else do they have down there?
And San Diego is
San Diego's just.
San Diego Christian Church, I think.
That does that. They have
a Christian church.
That's funny.
Mookie says, "What type of lightweight / low maintenance stuff do you guys do during your summer schedule?"
I lift hard every day. There's nothing.
We went so long.
Josh is the only one
so
laughing at
long.
that one.
Come on.
Welcome to his world.
Come on.
We went a long long time. 14 minutes without you flexing your muscles.
Here's a something. I just got the junior high calendar from our church, and I saw the word "free" on it in multiple places, and that was very exciting to me as a
We both
dad.
have multiple kids in the youth ministry.
That's right. Free, inexpensive, lightweight, lovely.
So great.
A lot of free stuff.
No, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
That was great.
I don't know. I think for summer, just, I don't necessarily consider summer a lightweight time just because I think it's relationally heavy. So
Yeah.
we're spending a lot of time building relationships. For us, 50% of our students graduate up to HSM and we have 50% new. So we do spend a lot of time in junior high doing relational stuff, but try really hard to make it free, accessible. Anyone can show up. The least amount of registrations and things like that as possible. So this summer we have a lot of park days and things that students can just show up to, bring a friend, really easy, free.
I think that's my favorite one. A little park just opened up across the street, and it's so fun, so easy.
I'm
Just
so
like
grateful.
show up at the park. We
Yeah.
got the grill going. We got a field open. We got all sorts of bocce ball and frisbees and footballs, and it's just low maintenance, low cost, fun, hanging out.
Do you have
It's a great
smash ball?
event. We don't have smash ball.
Spike ball.
We
Spike ball.
do
Is that
have
what you're
spike
thinking
ball.
of?
Spike
Yeah.
ball, can jam, soccer.
9 in the sky, love.
9 in the sky
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
So fun. Love that stuff.
Yeah, we have one of those lawn darts. We don't have those anymore. After that one kid.
I think you're being serious.
Oh well. I've already been attacked a lot in this show. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna let Kat.
Bobby Fleck, similar to
learned a
Mookie,
lot.
but Bobby Fleck is in Ringgold, Georgia, says, what are some ways that you attract kids to your youth ministry over the summer?
Lawn
So,
darts. That's
so
how
you
we
got
It's different than I've
lawn
noticed.
darts. So we've got one question says, what type of lightweight, low maintenance stuff do you guys do? And one question that says, what are you doing to attract kids over the summer? So
I've
go.
noticed that a lot of my youth pastor friends that I have kind of around the country, and even more like Midwest and East Coast, they shut down for the summer completely. And so they're always baffled that we have stuff happening in the summer because they're like, oh my gosh, people go away for vacation.
Yeah.
We don't even do camp or anything like that. And I feel like
Wow.
you say lightweight?
we
Yeah,
definitely,
there you go. Boom.
I would say we amp up, but
Yes.
but with ease.
Yeah.
You know, so like I said before, just making things easy, accessible, cheap, So it's not necessarily tons and tons of work to do a park day. It's a something, but
Well, we kind of also lean in, this summer in particular, we're leaning into where students want to be. So for us, in our culture, the beach is a few miles away, and so we've added a whole bunch of beach days. We're literally going to go hang out at the beach and just swim and surf and play sand games and have the grill going and fire pits at night, and we're just doing a ton of those. So we're kind of, they want to be there, and their friends want to be there. Everybody wants an easy invite, and so we're kind of, instead of going, we're going to Six Flags and it's going to be $99 a kid and we're getting a bus and we're you know what? You want to go to the beach? We're going to the beach. We'll meet you down there 4 o'clock or whatever. It'll be great. So
junior hires come to everything. I mean, they don't have anything to do, so they get dropped off somewhere without their parents. Like, for a
Yeah,
lot of them,
they're
it's
gonna
like
be
their
bored.
first
Parents
taste of
drop them
freedom.
off.
yeah, it's a
Yes,
win.
I know.
Summertime, oh my gosh.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I find, it's just really anything that there's going to be a little bit of a crowd. Let them know they can invite a friend so they don't have to come by themselves.
Yep.
And make it really open. And I just find most junior hires are excited to just have something to do.
What about volunteers that have to work 9 to 5s and stuff like that? So, I'm thinking of the youth worker who's listening, going, "Yeah, I would do that, but I'm by myself during the summer."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Well, we utilize a lot of younger leaders.
That's why I'm the host.
Hey, co-host. Go.
We use a lot of students that come home from college, which is fun, or some of our high school seniors and some of the students who do have maybe some free time during the day, but try to have a balance of things in the evening and during the day. So some of our evening events are meet at laser tag or meet at something, and so a lot of our volunteers can come. It's 7 o'clock, can come after work and that kind of thing. So having a nice little balance, I think.
Yeah. It's
It's
interesting.
helpful.
In our culture, we don't have a Wednesday night official program during the summer, but we add midweek. And it's just extended time of singing, a simple devotional message, usually a guest speaker, a new voice. And so that's 7 o'clock on Wednesday nights, and that's been really popular for us, which is funny because it's not our normal youth group is on Saturday nights or Sunday mornings, but a 7 o'clock worship time and a message
Small group leaders have the summer off,
Small
right?
group leaders have the summer off, and some choose to show up at a few things whenever. We totally allow that, but if there's no expectation, there's absolutely no expectation. But even something as basic as that has worked really well as far as an off hours type of thing. So it's a good chance to put in some of our other speakers who don't normally get to, a volunteer who's been around for a while who has a message to share. It's a great chance to use them too, and so yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's good. One of the things with us doing back-to-back shows, I forget to thank our sponsors, and we have to always at every show. Kathy, you know that.
I mean,
is that like contractual?
It's contractual.
Ooh,
it
okay.
might be. Do we
I
have
don't know.
contracts with them?
No.
No, we just love. Just
We
love.
just think
It's
they're
just
great.
love. It just pours
a
out.
loving
It's
relationship.
Orange. Orange is our primary sponsor.
We already mentioned them.
That was the last show.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember when we went to the bathroom really quick, got refills? We weren't recording that.
Okay, thanks.
Then we started a new show. We brought our
I
hands
didn't
in.
hear when we were talking
Hey,
about
everybody!
volunteers
Show
and reading
273.
that book.
You referred back to the
did.
book.
I referred back to the
Kath
book.
gave us a call out.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
A call
true.
back.
The Orange, the Just a Phase book.
There you
And
go.
we
There
are
you go. Okay.
Grateful
guys are
for
crazier
our.
than me.
Did we hear back from a few episodes ago? We really went after Leader Trex and Doug Franklin, Marion Young, like Ron, Katie's wife.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't heard back yet. No.
Oh,
That
did
they-
Doug Franklin marry
Did that show?
Doug
Somebody
Franklin
so young?
married young. Yeah, I think that show's next Monday.
Younger.
greater-
a
Shows
greater
next Monday.
distance apart. I think. That
Yeah.
is.
What are you? 12 years apart?
Wow.
We're 12 years apart. I want to say they're like 18 years apart.
Whoa.
They're a long ways apart. Yeah.
His wife is really pretty.
She's great.
And she's just great. She is pretty.
so
She's
kind.
great.
People 20 years younger are always pretty.
I know.
Oh, quote of the show right there. Done.
All right.
That
If
was
I was
great.
20 years younger than Doug, I would look so awesome.
So good. You'd be like, Doug's a great guy. Man, his wife is pretty. Man.
I
We
get
say that
that
now,
all the time.
just so you know. Even though you hate me a little bit right now, apparently, we say that about you all the time.
Very.
Kathy.
Stop being so wounded. Just be a
So
learner.
wounded.
Just be a
Oh,
learner.
so
She
much
gave
to
us good
learn.
things to think
No,
about.
I'm teasing. I've actually, if you could see my to-do list, just not to be defensive,
Stop.
but I have that on my to-do list of things I need to change in our ministry. Going back to the Julie Brock and thanking people that exit better, it's on my list.
Yeah, we talked
Julie
about
Brock,
Good.
her son is in our ministry right now.
Oh my
He
gosh,
is-
that's
Yes,
unbelievable.
And
Oh,
it's
wow.
been so
One of her
fun.
stepsons.
Yes, her
That is
oldest.
so great.
And it's been so fun to have her as a mom in our ministry
Yeah.
because she's such a cheerleader.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
for those who have
Sorry,
no idea,
excuse
we're
me.
totally playing inside house here.
didn't mean to do that.
Julie was a 20-year volunteer in the high school
Yes.
ministry.
If we were here 20, she was here at least like 18.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you were just talking about how she left and the closure, but it's so
Yeah.
cool to hear her talk about her time in high school ministry
Yeah.
and just how much that shaped her, how much she loved it, and how much she wants that for her kids.
How
So,
bad
Yeah.
did she talk about Josh?
Oh my goodness. Hey, it's time to go. I wish we had more time for the show. Thank you to Orange. Thank you to Leader Trex, YM360.
Thank you.
We always give a code. Today's code is CAMO. Anything in the store, 10% off using the code CAMO. Camo.
Oh, I
Any
see,
and all.
10%.
Yeah, last week's
Wow.
show,
You guys are cheap.
52%.
Not us. It's YM360.
Okay, well,
Youth
go
Ministry
back to
360.com.
last episode. You will get a greater discount because of me.
A much better
That's right.
deal.
You go back to episode 272.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was when we
the money
almost
show.
put them out of business.
This is
Wow,
from
look at that question.
Josh Nelson. Yeah, this is the longest question that has made the show, and I'm not going to read it all, but he's
Thankfully.
talking
Whoa.
about dealing with a family. The mom and dad are divorced. There's two boys, one just graduating, one a sophomore, and a girl who's finishing 8th grade. Talking about the dysfunction of the family, all right? And he's really, really concerned about the kids staying there and a whole bit. But here's this question that I think is transferable to everybody. How do I work to try to help a dysfunctional family when my advice may be seen as overstepping my bounds or dishonoring the parents?
Done it a million times. Overstepped and dishonored.
Just go for it. That's what I'm hearing. Go for it.
All
Oh,
right.
that's hard. That's really hard. First thing I'll say, and then I got nothing else. Care for the kids that are in your ministry and love the kids because you probably will not change the parents.
But what if he is saying, Kathy, great advice, but the best way to love those kids is to get them out of that house or to help,
unless you need to call Child Protective Services for how great that is, and we have all been in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've had somebody in my house with a mother and a daughter, and I've said, you need to get out of your house, and if you don't, your daughter's going to hate you in another couple years when she realizes that you haven't protected her. Nothing changed, but I continued to love that daughter, love that girl. That's the only thing I could do. And it wasn't like I should have called Child Protective Services. I don't believe that still to this day. It wasn't that kind of case. If it is, you call Child Protective Services and you don't bat an eye about it, and you get some help in there.
Well, and in that situation, you spoke truth to somebody by saying, if you don't protect your daughter in this situation, she will turn on you. And the mom looked at you like you were a zombie, and fast forward a few years later, that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
Exactly what happened.
But
And
the ministry is to the kids. If you
and the
can't get
redeeming
to the
part,
parents.
and the redeeming part of that is that you, as a small group leader, were there and have provided community
Continue
and
to.
yeah.
Well, good for you, first of all, for even just saying that. Because,
It was
I even
hard.
feel the tension here of like, oh, do you speak up or just let it go? Like, is this my place? Like, are you really supposed to say that hard truth to them? And you were. And so even for this question to be asked, good for you having the boldness to wonder what you should do and to maybe say it if you
Yeah.
need to.
I think that's where you trust the Spirit of God in your.
Yeah.
And, you have to be prayed up. This is not an impulsive thing. You're not saying dumb. The older I get, the quicker I am to say to parents some things. But when I was a younger youth worker, I really thought more about it and prayed more about it, and talked to Kathy about it, about what should we say in this situation. And I think you've got to trust the Spirit inside that's prompting you. And Kathy's right. You're not going to fix that parent, but you might just plant a little bit of seed of wisdom. And at the same time, you want to be able to say, I did everything I could. I didn't turn my back on that situation. And we're not talking about abuse that needs Child Protective Services
Right.
in this situation. He's basically just talking about fighting and anger and tempers about the boys between one another and, blended family
Blended
and
family's
just goofy
tough,
stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I would say you might be surprised how little they hear face-to-face from someone who loves them. Some direct coaching or calling them out or whatever. I know even when I get feedback the opposite way from a parent, I am really thankful for it because so few parents will really help me as a leader. And I think, and it doesn't always feel that way, but it is so helpful. And I would say those young men are probably caught in the middle of this new relationship and if you could just speak some truth out of love and out of respect for them, coach them, love them, I think it'd probably be a welcome voice in their life.
I think it's one of the hardest things in youth ministry to coach
yeah.
another parent. To
Yeah.
not be a parent and to coach a parent, or to be a parent and coach a parent.
Yeah.
Both
Yeah.
equally difficult, I think.
yeah. More difficult when you're not a parent to try to coach a parent.
Definitely, because you really have your context is just so
Yeah.
different. But I think if you're not a parent, lean into some parents of teenagers before you have a conversation like that.
Good, Katie.
Lean
Yeah.
into some parents who you can kind of ask some questions of what does it feel like when tempers flare and things like that as a parent, because even great parents have those moments. So what are some of the coaching points or some of the things I think other parents can help you do that? And as a parent, drawing from some things of what would be those coaching points or next steps. In a conversation with a parent, I always want to have a next step. So even if it's a hard conversation, I want to be really loving on the back end of, we're here for you too. We love you too. We want to, and some parents respond to that and some don't. You can't control that, but to put out, here's what we see in an honest way, but here's how we want to love you. Here's how we want to walk with your student. Being prepared to say some of those types of things and follow through with, hey, can we help you guys get family counseling? Or we have some great resources here or here that I want to point you to. And, ultimately it's in the parent's court to respond, and some do and some don't. That's out of your hands. But I think thinking through what could be some next steps potentially. If you were going to coach a parent, as a parent, if someone's going to coach me, my question back is, well, how do I do that? Or where do I start? Or I want to do that maybe. And so, but I don't know what to do from there. And I think that's a lot of parents is they just don't know where to begin sometimes. And so they just don't.
Yeah.
So just a couple things there, I think.
Anything else?
No, just, and just maybe that it's not in every situation that I have done what I gave an example of. I didn't do it every time somebody was in a rough spot, like you're damaging your child, do something, be a different parent. I didn't say that every kid who had hard times. There were some kids that I didn't know their parents. I didn't have a relationship. They didn't want me to talk to their parents. So there were times when it was just purely, okay, then we just have to pray you through these teenage years. I will be here. I will stand by your side. Your family sounds like it's really hard for now. And this little small group will always be here for you.
Right.
Church will be here for you. So it's just
that spirit leading piece, and when you feel bad, and
But I do love have what's the next step. If you do get a meeting with the parent where you can say, we have this, we can offer you, we know of this great family counselor.
Yeah.
Your child maybe should go talk to a counselor also, and this person might be great.
Or do you need another parent to talk to? I know that was always a big thing, was just, for us was just, you have some other great parents that you just need someone to talk to.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, parents can feel like a failure 24/7 of parents of teenagers. So if they can talk to somebody who's been there, a little older, a little wiser, a little journey through, who's going to be able to say, you're going to be fine. You're going to, let me come to you from the future. So helpful. Also, a little other piece is there's two sides to every story too. So when you are talking to a kid and hearing about the family, you just be wise enough to know that mom and dad has the side of the story too. What Josh was writing about to us, it sounds like he knows the other side of the story as well. Okay, last question. This is from Mark West from Memorial Baptist Church. Hello, DYM
church,
member and web show enthusiast, but not a rewinder.
Oh.
I really enjoyed Jason on the show and liked the addition of his point of view.
Sad I'm here today.
Sorry to let you down.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
But I still miss Matt and his marvelous cackle.
Oh.
Don't we all?
We do.
all do.
Hashtag Pismode. My question is, where do you draw the line between plagiarism and inspiration? For example, I like the name Hidden Treasure for a Bible memorization program, so I use it for our ministry's program. Is that plagiarism or inspiration?
I think it's wonderful.
I hear a message with a great title and some great points, so I write with the message with the same title and main points, but connect them to my own way that fits my context. Is that plagiarism or inspiration? I'll tell you the first one, the Hidden Treasures, because it comes right out of PDYM.
Yeah.
That is inspiration. I want people to plagiarize.
Absolutely.
Like anything we do at Download Youth Ministry, it's to save you time so you can spend more time with kids. I appreciate the question, though, because I think I've heard, of people preaching our messages that are, they're giving the same illustration that we did and just changing the names, but not, it's not real. Then your integrity's at the line. The reality is, even anything you read has been inspired from somebody else. I mean, somebody's taken that and went, whether it's a movie, a book, or something, went, oh, that's interesting. I could teach that, and they create a talk from it. They've taken that concept from somebody else. So I like when youth workers ask that question, because I don't want them to feel like they're just stealing stuff every week from people. They're not thinking, or their message is only as good as the last book that they read. But you use these resources as inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I like starting with a blank Word document, but I fill that blank Word document with stuff that's in my head and stuff that inspired me and stuff that... So even what you totally write, it's not... Original thought might be a thing of the past, honestly. There just isn't a whole lot new out there. But different ways of saying it, creative ways of saying it, people that have spent a lot of time preparing a message, and you can leverage that time that they've spent as you communicate to students. That's wonderful. I think there's ways to amplify your sermon prep by beg, borrow, steal. Absolutely.
I just don't want youth workers to rely on somebody else's stuff every week without at least doing some of the homework on themselves and doing the hard work and learning how to study the scriptures, learn how to ask good questions, and then use other people's stuff to fill in some of the blanks.
Well, and letting the scripture, the message that you're giving everyone else, let it speak to you. Yeah. Let it do its work in your heart, too, because the message has to come from you. It's not just a talk that you download and you're ready to go.
Yeah.
So even if you do beg, borrow, and steal, it's got to be your message from the Lord. So
I think that's what's fun about DYM too, is that there's times where I'm just kind of looking for something to spark. So I just scroll through all the series titles and I just, what is everybody? Because sometimes that's just like, what is everybody thinking about right now?
Yeah.
You know, or
You
what
did
are the
something-
pastors talking about? You know?
was it a
Purchase
money?
anything?
She doesn't. She does. She's like, hey, can you get me
My
filthy
parents-
rich? And
my
I was like,
parents
okay,
purchase
sorry.
enough for all of us. Okay,
That's true. You're
they
a
are your
parent. They
best
are all over it.
customers.
But it is fun. Like you just did a series that you just took a name off of
Yeah,
a
the title
series.
slide or something.
And I was like, that's a great idea
That's
too.
where I need
Built their
time
own talk.
saved.
Well,
Graphics.
absolutely. We've had people say,
Uh-huh.
I buy your guys' series on DYM, and sometimes I don't even look at the messages. I just use the graphics.
Yes.
It's
If
like
the guys-
$3. Like
if
we're
that-
gonna go.
Yeah,
Man,
$3.
I don't know how to do graphics, so it's just nice to have,
awesome.
that's why you guys have DYM, to serve us at all different levels, where
Yeah.
we're weak, that can be good strength.
fun.
So.
Well, I think that's where my only thought is that's where they need to be careful. DYM offers that. Doug, you have always said that. Take my stuff.
Right.
Take my name off.
But
it,
not
put yours on,
everybody
yeah.
says that. So I
True.
think you need to be careful with who you're borrowing, and stealing from if you're using the same words. Exactly. Because somebody else may not be as gracious and
Yeah.
might call you out on it and not like it. And
Yeah, maybe should
what
be
are you getting for
attributed
that?
at
Yeah,
least.
should be attributed to
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. No, I've said for years, take my name off, put your name on. But I've also said, don't publish it. So,
Right.
now when I read youth ministry books and I go, oh, that's right out of my stuff and there's no credit given,
Right.
that's plagiarism to
Yeah,
me.
absolutely. Sure. Good stuff.
All right.
It's a fun show,
I'm
guys.
freezing
It's
in
great
here.
to be together.
It is
cold.
freezing. Every now and then it's like the
Yeah.
Northwestern, whatever they're called, that you people in the cold get. We're getting it in here.
Yeah.
You people in
You
the
people in the
cold.
cold.
That's the
Josh,
title
you
of
were
the
in the
show
cold
right there.
before.
I love it.
We're all
I'm going to say
Californians.
Northwesterlies. I'll go with
Northwesterlies.
that. I'll just support you in that one.
Okay, thank you.
No idea.
No.
I'm going to support you.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
Excellent.
Red
2
light
sho's
on.
without mentioning CrossFit, Josh. Nicely
You know
done.
what? I did all right.
We
But
got-
we're,
We did flex.
we're heading
Gotta
there
go.
right now.
Flex at 14
wait, sorry.
minutes.
We're heading across it right now. Got to stop the show. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.